Hello and welcome everyone to Quick Album Reviews. I'm CJ Middle, and right now I'm in a very sketchy parking lot in a very sketchy city with a car parked right behind me with people in it. Like, I'm in a parking spot, but they're like parked like right behind me, and not gonna lie, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Anyways, I am the terrible disguise CJ Middle, and today I'm trying to avoid detection by disguise by Motionless and White. It's been quite a while since I reviewed a metalcore album, or even listened to metalcore in general, I suppose. I used to be a fan of metalcore years ago until I started developing a taste for heavier music and less breakdowns. My brother, on the other hand, is still into the genre. I don't like his music and he doesn't like mine, so I guess it's a fair trade. I chose this album for two reasons. One, because someone recommended it, and two, so I could tell the story of the time I saw them at Van's Warped Tour. Yeah, I know. Van's Warped Tour. Oh my god, I'm so edgy. It's like, oh, dude, fucking child's play, man. Dude. But honestly, beggars can't be choosers. No one I know is into heavier stuff, so I'm stuck going to whatever other people want to go to, because I don't like going to concerts alone or festivals alone, because that's just not my thing. So if I want to see some metal, I have to go where everyone else is going to see metal, which unfortunately was Warped Tour, but whatever. I got to see some other cool bands. Anyways, while I was there, Motionless and White was on the list. At this point, I knew of them, but I had never really checked out their music. And I swear to Satan, 15 minutes before Motionless and White was supposed to start, a massive wave of black dyed hair, piercings, black nail polish, tattoos of Jack Skellington, tight black jeans, and fat white chicks showed up out of absolutely nowhere. Seriously, I have, to this day, I still have no idea where the fuck they came from. And honestly, I have a theory about this, is that there was a portal from the emo dimension that opened up, and they just flooded in. And I still believe it. As for the actual show, I don't really remember much. This was like years ago. I remember a lot of breakdowns and seeing a female guitarist, which I thought was cool to see at least, because no, none of the other bands of the day had a female guitarist, so that was new. And I promise, and I swear to you, the moment the show ended, all the emo haircuts and piercings vanished. I honestly never saw any of them again that day, and I was there for like 6 hours of it, of like Warped Tour left. Hence my portal theory. Now, before I continue, I feel like I have to say this. I'm not saying everyone who likes Motionless and White falls under the emo category. I'm just stating what I witnessed. Yes, there were some like non-black haired, non-tattooed, non-tight pants wearing people as well. So there you go. You happy? No? Oh well, I guess. Released in 2019, Disguise isn't that good. Now keep in mind, I went into this album completely open-minded and put all my biases aside about metalcore. But even musically, it isn't that great. My biggest problem with this album is how repetitive and cliche it was. The biggest offender was the lyrics. How many metalcore bands have lyrics about not fitting in, not liking yourself, having a rough life, and, other stuff like that? A lot of them. I know people enjoy these kind of lyrics, and that's fine. I did at one point too, but so many bands use the same lyrics nowadays. It's just, it's a headache. Alright, so let's move away from lyrics. The other issue I had is the amount of clean vocals on here. I know metalcore uses clean vocals, and that's fine. I'm not complaining about that. But there seem to be way more cleans than harsh ones on here. If you use clean vocals, then at least balance it out with some harsh. Otherwise, the music just begins to sound one-sided. And I will admit, I did enjoy the screams and growls on here. They were actually very solid, and honestly, if the band made deathcore, it wouldn't be bad, actually. Obviously, since this is a metalcore album, breakdowns are unavoidable. But again, I have to admit they weren't bad. They were not the typical breakdowns you'd expect in metalcore. These ones had more groove and melody to them, so at least they did something a little different. Lastly, I need to point out the corn, and by that I mean the. Let me explain. It isn't uncommon for bands to incorporate other styles into their music, especially from bands that they're influenced by. But there's a fine line between influence and copying. For example, the opening track Disguise has a strong influence of Korn in it. However, I wouldn't say they copied Korn. That's the second track, Headache. This track has Korn written all fucking over it. They even copied, or tried to copy, I guess, Jonathan's voice and the way he sings. This wouldn't bug me if this was a Korn tribute album, but it's not. This is like the band's own material, but they're copying Korn. So it's a ripoff, basically. So despite putting all my biases aside about metalcore, this album, even musically, is repetitive and cliche. It has some moments where it shines, but as a whole, it falls flat. I wouldn't say this album is necessarily bad, but it's less than a meh. So this album's gonna get a skip. By the way, I know I've been saying metalcore this whole time, and I know the proper term is melodic metalcore, but everyone else calls it metalcore, so I just said metalcore just to avoid confusion. And yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Anyways, thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you tell a friend to do the same. This is gonna be a bitch of a video to edit later. Oh boy, probably should have thought that through. Oh well. Anyways, see you all at the next review.